And you're laughing, and we are the Goon Squad. Welcome to my brothers and idiots. I am the king of the goons. You have met the rest of the squad. MJ, our beloved dipshit, is working. Muti is up the hill gambling. Hopefully he wins all of the things. So you're stuck with the three of us. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
A little Milty insight. We will have some horse betting information for you on all of the socials here before the big race on Saturday. So little insider information. We'll have something coming for that here in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Absolutely awesome. I can't wait to hear his insight.
Yeah, I am doing very well. I'm excited to do this show.
Right?
Things are looking good right now in Denver sports for all but one of our franchises, Frank.
Yeah, that team sucks. I'm doing all right. Coming down from a unfortunate early spring illness, but besides that, yeah, I'm doing good. Happy about the Nuggets and the Avalanche.
Well, you brought them up. Let's talk about one of them. We all saw the Nuggets win. What a series here, fellas. The Nuggets get the gentleman's sweep. They beat the Lakers 4-1. Tough games all the way across, right? It was hard fought, 2 last-minute shots to win the game in 2 different games by Jamal. Mark, react to the series.
My first initial thought, especially after Game 5, is it looked like there's a lot of conservation of energy from the starters. And I'm not saying that they're spending less time on the floor, but it is noticeable what Joker is doing to conserve his energy to make a postseason run. I think that they know that they're up against a hard one here with what's happening in this next week and a half or so. He still averaged 28, 18 and 10, but it looked like the energy wasn't there. And I thought that that's funny considering he was playing one of the best defensive, when he's on the floor. Anthony Davis is probably one of the top 3 best big men in basketball, and he lazily made him look bad. And they took their best shot, the Lakers' best shot, especially in Game 4, and came away. Almost they had the lead for a while and probably could have been in that game, but they seemed to kind of just like phone the rest of the game in, like we'll just kind of play with them or whatever. I'm not saying that they did, but it just seemed like they appear to be resting a little bit in anticipation for the long playoff drought. I'm a little bit scared about this bench. Reggie Jackson is at times a master, and at most of the time he's a liability. Christian Brown seems lost on the floor on occasion, or he seems awesome. Peyton Watson hit 1 big shot. Other than that, I felt like other than his defensive presence, he was not felt. I'm very worried about the bench. You know who I'm not worried about, though, guys? And who we haven't had to worry about all year? Who's the guy who's led the team in minutes and games played this year? Michael Porter Jr. The guy he's the number 3 on this team. Holy shit. He is amazing. And I thought Aaron Gordon was the 3rd best option on this team. I think it's Michael Porter Jr. He's playing complete games. My only problem with him is every time he gets a steal, he falls. And I'm like, bro, the knees. Bro, the knees. Watch the knees, bro. Keep the knees off the floor, bro.
It's not his knees you have to worry about. It's his back.
I know, but he hits his knees. That's going to fucking wrench his back and shit. Like, bro, keep off the floor, man.
I do want to correct one thing that you said. You said when Anthony Davis is on the floor, he's one of the top 3 big men. I think you need to change that to when he's on his feet.
Yeah,
because that man spends more time literally on the floor than any other big man I've ever seen.
Obviously, I meant vertically, not horizontally.
I know. I just wanted to call it out that AD fell down again.
I don't think was the arm pinch thing. Where
well, that
pirouettes and fall over.
God, that was. I'm gonna give
my arm. I've been shot. Fall down.
I'm gonna give him a pass on that one because it didn't look like a lot, but that arm was not right the rest of the game. And I bet you that son of a bitch is wrenched, and I'll bet you he may actually have to have surgery because it would not be surprised if that son of a bitch was dislocated.
not disagreeing with you
he's
at all,
not
but
he's not a physically tough guy by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to pain and playing through it. But that looked like I actually felt for the guy. Tank,
No,
He
before I
hurt
throw
his
it over
shoulder
to
and
you,
was limping. That's all I'm saying. He hurt his shoulder and was limping around the floor. The elbow is not connected to the leg bone.
I know.
Just saying.
what
That isn't
before I
him.
throw it
I
over to
mean-
you, Tank. Before I throw it over to you, I also do want to. Mark mentioned it, Michael Porter Jr. And I don't know that we can say enough about the mental toughness of this guy. Here's a guy who had one of the roughest 2 weeks you could have in your family. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still happening.
it's still
Actually.
happening.
Oh, yeah, today, right.
Yeah.
But go on. We'll
Yeah,
get to
but,
that.
I
at
mean,
some
one
point, but go on.
brother gets sent to prison, another brother gets banned for life from the NBA, and this man went out and put up 24-9 every single night and played willing plus defense, was a great rebounder. I cannot give that man enough credit. He has absolutely earned that third max contract. Everyone kind of questioned when he first got it, and I thought, man, just watching this kid play is an absolute treat. All right, Tank, my piece is done. Over to you.
I was actually I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. One of my surprises over the last couple weeks has been the improved defense that he's been displaying. Because he's been a defensive liability constantly.
Well, he doesn't
but-
play defense in the regular season.
That's what I'm
That's the
saying. But in the playoffs, he has shown that he is capable of being efficient on the defensive side of the ball.
Not only efficient, but damn side fucking amazing.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes he's brilliant.
I think you guys are leaning a little bit too much into pre-2022 Mike. This year, and I've said it all year, he is a willing plus defender. He's never going to be locked down. He's never going to be the guy that you can put on their top shooting forward, but he's not going to hurt you. And he's just cranked it up in the playoffs. This year, 2023, 2024, Mike's defense is light years above what he was playing previously in his career.
1,000%. Yeah.
I agree. It's just that this is a different level than what we've seen previous, in
Even
regular
this
season.
year. Yeah.
We even all talked about it, that his defense has been better. But this defense that he's playing in this previous series, and we assume is going to continue, he's
Hopefully.
on fire. The man's hair is on fire. It's unbelievable.
He's absolutely locked in.
Continue,
Mark,
Frank.
go ahead, Frank.
Well, no, that was the end of that thought. The only thing I was going to say after that was that Murray is just a fucking machine. I
As
love
long as he's
watching
hitting
that dude.
shots.
Well, yeah, but he gets cold every once in a while, but in those clutch moments, that dude is just going to fire it and let it go and see what happens. And that is a level of confidence that is hard to establish in the NBA.
Piggybacking off of that, we would not be recording tonight if it weren't for Jamal Murray playing the other night. We would actually be watching the game right now.
Yeah,
if
probably
Jamal
true.
Murray doesn't play on Monday night, we are not having a discussion right now. We're having it through text watching the game.
Well, actually, the game would have been tomorrow, so we
either
still
way.
would have been on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Fair
would
enough.
be remiss. We would be remiss if we didn't mention again that Jamal Murray hit a shot. There you go. Thank you, Anthony Davis, for being a giant crybaby. Bong. Yeah. Unbelievable. Mark, you brought up the bench, and I also have concerns with the bench. Game 5, Christian Brown, he had a very short leash because it's obvious he has either no confidence or it just doesn't know what he's doing out there. And I think he needs more time as the first sub in, and he can do a lot of damage when he's playing with more of the starters than he does with more of the bench.
I would lean towards the latter on what you just said right there. I think he has a shit ton of confidence. The problem is that he gets this thing where he's just not playing with the flow of the game, it seems like, and he's trying to create his own flow. And I think that's where he gets those misfires of just doing blatantly wrong shit every once in a while.
He was passing up open shots.
Mhm.
He drove into the lane and looked at the hoop and then tried to pass it out.
Yeah.
It's confidence. It's clear it's a confidence issue with him. I don't know if it was the fact that AD was in the lane and he didn't want to have anything to do with that. I don't know, but he's got to get his head right.
Yeah, and that doesn't change in this next series, does it? Like these guys have to, and you saw it with Jamal a little bit in games 3 and 4, where he was afraid to take a few shots because he got swatted very early by LeBron in one of those games, and you could tell he was clutching or pushing the ball up, like he just was playing different, and I think that had to affect his shot and why his shot selection was so terrible in games 3 and 4. But they're not. This doesn't get any easier for the Nuggets. I think that was a much easier series than what they're getting ready to play here. Just a few days.
And Mark, you called it out. The ability of Joker to conserve energy. I was trying to figure out why he wasn't spending more time in the post, especially post Davis shoulder. And he just was kind of floating around the wings, would get it on the high block or would get it outside the paint at the elbow, and wouldn't necessarily take it to the hole until later in the game. I absolutely agree with you. I think that was conservation of energy. He knows he's got to win 16 total games. He knows this next series is going to be rough and tumble, even though he constantly eats Gobert's lunch every single time. And one of my all-time favorite Joker stories is Jamal is doing an interview with Vic Lombardi, and he tells the story about how they're playing the Jazz, and Joker gets the ball. They look like they're going to come with the double team, and Gobert goes, I got him. And Joker turns around and goes, brother, I have 47. It's like, it's so good. Gobert is a really good defender, but Joker has his way with him frequently. This series is going to be tough though, fellas.
They have a team.
Mm-hmm.
They match up extraordinarily well
by design.
And I know, and I think in places they match up better. Let's face it, Anthony Edwards is a stone cold killer. That guy can put up 40 every night and not even think about it, and he's called himself a killer. Karl Anthony Towns is a monster of a human. He's terrible on TV commercials, but he's a monster of a human. This team has much more size than the Nuggets do, and especially on the bench, they have much more size, and I think that's going to be a problem if the Nuggets aren't hitting outside shots like they weren't until Game 5. They were very, very cold from three-point range in games 1 through 4, and if you have to play the outside game, which you will against this lineup, I know that you're going to have to work from outside in, but it's going to have to be, like you said, Joker's going to have to get in the block to make some offense work. And they're going to lose. I don't know what they're going to do with the rebound battle, but I don't see it, the edge going to the Nuggets in this battle. They have to hit those outside shots, and they can't have cold games like they did.
Well, the 29% is not going to cut it.
Yeah, and they're going to get beat up in this. Let's be honest, they're going to get beat up in the paint, especially.
Some weird injuries too. Woo.
But the counter to that is, if we can get the bench moving, they can take some of that damage.
Let me tell you about the size of that if, though, right now.
Well, I know, and I 100% understand the size of that if, but even if it's just kind of taking some of the heat off of, Joker and AG in the paint, the bench is going to need to be able to take some of that heat. And they're going to have to do it no matter what, I think, in this series.
There's a couple places here where I think Denver has the edge and it's not close. One is the mind game. We already know that Rudy Gobert is a head case. I mean, this guy punched his own teammate, and he's done some.
He also started COVID.
Yeah, well, right. That's not necessarily his fault. The microphone thing was done.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That was funny.
That was fucking hysterical. Thinking about it 4 years now, but at the time it wasn't funny. Later. It's funny now.
Karl Anthony Towns is immensely talented, but he's also shown that he will get into his own head. And we saw it in the series last year. He had no interest in playing in that series at any point last year, even though they were taking the Nuggets to 6 games. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He couldn't do anything on the glass, and he just was disinterested. He can be
also
a
just
head
kind of a
case.
dipshit. He says some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
He says some wild shit sometimes.
He does.
Just
He
some
does.
stupid
So,
ass shit, man.
and we talked about the mental focus of one Michael Porter Jr. This entire team has that mental focus. Just look at the way they gutted out that game the other night, game 5. You've got Jamal on a leg and a half. You've got Reggie with an ankle. I thought KCP wasn't coming back in the
Didn't
game.
think he
I
was
mean, that
either.
looked terrible.
Yeah,
The way he
Toaster
was
had like a
walking around.
9-leg parlay, and I was like, bro, you're done. You only have 8 legs on that 9 leg.
Right.
It's not wrong. Yeah.
And they gutted that thing out and played outstanding, especially down the stretch. This team is incredibly mentally tough. They're incredibly focused, and that's not something that Minnesota has. You've got to go through some of the motions of losing in the playoffs in order to grow, which is where I think even OKC is going to struggle. But Denver's been there. Denver's done that. Denver knows how they have to do it in order to get to where they want to go. Minnesota hasn't figured that out yet, and I don't necessarily think they have the mental capacity across that team in order to focus the way they should.
I would agree with that.
Get ready for fucking Jamal Murray to look really bad on defense, though. And he's not a bad defender at all. I'm not saying that. Just he's not 100%, and he's taking on maybe the best guard in the NBA.
Well, they're going to put KCP on him.
I hope so, but also KCP. How does KCP hold up with that leg? So one of these, and KCP's a much better defender, but if he's not healthy, he's going to look silly too.
And in reality, like
Anthony Edwards is unbelievably fucking gifted and can make everyone silly on any night. And fucking, I've seen a lot of comparisons to the old number 23. I don't think that they're correct at all, but he does have that shake and bake that I have not seen since Allen Iverson or, like Gilbert Arenas in his first couple years in the league, back when these guys were brand new. I don't think he's going to wind up like those two fucking knuckleheads. I think he's a much better player than those guys, but holy shit, his on the ball game is incredible. Incredible.
Well, and to a certain extent, it may play out similar to what happened with the Suns last year, where you're kind of just going to have to let Edwards play his game and kind of realize that he's going to do what he's going to do and then take everybody else off of the court as much as possible. Because,
you're comfortable with Anthony Edwards getting 40 points every night?
If we shut everybody else down, that's what we did with Phoenix last year. Durant was putting up 30, 40 points, and we still won the series because we were taking care of everybody else.
It's a big if again.
No, I understand that, but when you have a guy that that's going to dominate scoring like Edwards is going to, it's kind of hard to do too much. You can fuck with him, and a guy like KCP's fantastic for that, but he's still going to get his points. So take the other options as much as you can and get rid of them and get rid of their ability to score.
And Denver plays a really good team defense, and I think they'll be fine. I'm sort of playing the devil's advocate, but I also think that the best player in the world is obviously Joker, but the most talented guard in the league is on the other side looking at you. So
right now, he's
only 22, but he's the most talented guard in the league, I think. You're going from old and busted to the new hotness. LeBron was old and busted. Ant is new hotness. That's what you're looking at.
Solid Men in Black call out.
Thank you. You got it.
I did get it. That's awesome. Well, we've kind of broken the series down, and it's going to start on Saturday. Tank, how do you see it going?
I think this is going to be a rough series, to be honest, physically, but I still think it's a 6-game series with the Nuggets taking it.
Mark?
I'm kind of in the same vein. I don't think this goes 7. I think Michael Malone has some tricks up his sleeve, and I think he's been hiding a lot of what they've been doing, taking the old 90s football mentality, and they kind of were toying with the Lakers a little bit. And you got hints of that with Joker, his post-game press conferences saying stuff like Jamal was faking the injury. I don't know if you guys caught that, but
I did.
He was asked about the game. He was like, what are you talking about? It was fake. Or, talking about being bored playing the same team over and over again. He did throw that out in the middle of the Lakers series. You don't think that was pointed on purpose? He knows what he's doing. I think that they're hiding some things. I do think that this team's going to be fine. I'm really worried about this bench. I'm very worried about this bench, but I think the starting 5, as long as they stay upright, will propel them to a not Game 7 victory in this series.
So the general manager of the Minnesota Timberwolves is one Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly was instrumental in constructing the Nuggets as they are right now.
Yep.
He put this Minnesota team together to beat the Denver Nuggets. So if there's one guy in the world who knows what pieces he needs physically and from a talent perspective to be able to do that, it's Tim Connolly. Mark brought it up that this Anthony Edwards conundrum is going to be disturbing. I'm not a huge fan of the health right now, but having 4.5 days off, I think is a great thing. I see this one actually going 7 here, fellas. I think Denver's going to take it in the 7th game because, again, they've been there, they've done that. And as the series continues, the pressure's only going to mount because Minnesota is the expected rising team here. There's going to be, and we've already seen some of the MVP votes out, and people are like, no, it's not Joker. That national narrative is going to start taking over again. Anthony Edwards is going to be the heir apparent, and people are going to start talking about it. And I think a lot of that national pressure is going to start to ratchet up, and Game 7 will be a Denver victory, and then Denver will go on and face whoever, right? This is the Western Conference Finals here, fellas.
This is the NBA Finals, I think.
Yeah, well, if Tingus Pingus is still hurt, like
Tingus keeps going down, man. Like everyone was scared about Boston for a minute. They're going to be fine against Miami. Don't worry about fucking Miami. They're beating them by like 35 points right now. But
right.
If Tingus goes down, they're all in kinds of trouble.
Oh yeah, that game's over, by the way.
And there's not another team in the East that I'm scared of at all.
Oh no, there's not a single one that I would be concerned about. And Boston has shown they don't know how to get out of the East yet, right? I mean,
right.
Well, they beat the brakes off of Miami tonight, but
they have been beating Somebody said something in that locker room, and Jason Tatum decided he was going to take over. And
right.
Oh, it's the memory of last year is what happened. It's like, oh, hey, this ain't happening again.
Yeah, no, not doing it.
We're beating this team to death.
It's not the memory of what happened last year. It's the memory of the 3 weeks afterwards where he had to live in Boston and deal with all those fucking people. Jesus.
Yeah.
I am
I'm
a fan of all of those teams, but the sports fans there are miserable human beings.
Yeah, that's kind of why I don't like them.
Not far wrong there. So Mark and Tank have Nuggets in 6. I've got Nuggets in 7. It's a Nuggets win all the way around. We'll see what happens, and we'll come back and cover it next week. Let's move on to the other series that just finished. And boys, I could not have predicted the way this series went.
None of us did.
All.
No, none of us did.
I got one thing right. In 5 games, they hit the over 4 times.
So what do we do with the over? What do we do with the over?
If you want the Avs to win, you've got to hammer the over. So I got that right. That's the one thing I got right. Everything else was wrong.
Right?
I got it all wrong.
When you're averaging six goals a game, yeah, that carries the over pretty decently.
And I put it on. Go ahead.
Oh, that was just going to say they outscored the Jets something like 31 to 20 in that series. What is Rocky's issue, man? We got Rocky issues. I don't know what's going on with that doggy, but he is upset about something, Frank. None of us predicted how this was going. The goaltenders basically switched bodies somewhere in the middle of the second intermission of the first game.
second game, because that first game was rough for both of them. But
That's what I'm saying. They switched bodies
yeah,
because he gave up all those goals in the second period, but then Hellebuyck gave up all the rest of the goals for the series starting in the third period of game one.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
So they switched bodies, and we've got a 2-time Vezina winner who's gonna have to go, celebrate while not winning a cup.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
he
that,
got-
fellas. My dog never barks in the house, and I don't know what the hell he was doing. He just lost his shit for some reason.
He's upset about us talking shit about Georgie last week.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. He's like, you guys were fucking wrong. And Georgie, after game one, if you look at games 2 through 5, Georgie had a 94% save percentage with a 2-0 goals against. He was out fucking standing games 2 through 5.
Yeah.
and it was legitimate save because like the shots on goal was pretty even through the series. So it
Team
was a lot of
defense.
Georgie and a lot of Team D. Yeah,
The team defense got much better after game one. You could see them shake
Yeah.
the rust off in that second and third. Like they got out to the quick start in game one, but you could see the team defense change significantly in game two, and they made all the adjustments. And because of this, I don't think we have to worry about finding a new coach no matter what happens for the rest of the series.
I guess
I'm going to go ahead and say it right now.
You
This
take that
puts to
tinfoil
bed
hat off?
anything. Yeah. For now, that particular tinfoil hat can get crumpled up and thrown in.
Yeah, put that one away.
Yeah, it was a fun thought. Not fun, but
It wasn't a fun thought. What
That
are
was
you
a
talking about?
horrifying thought.
It was
Yeah,
horrible.
It was.
What do you-
But they didn't lose in the first round like we predicted, so everything's good.
Right. Well, I mean, they hadn't beaten Winnipeg all year, so I mean, we didn't have anything good to go off of. And the last time they played them in the regular season was as bad as I have ever seen that team play. That 7-0 game at home when I'm sitting with 2 Winnipeg Jets fans, granted, I love them both to death, was an absolutely horrifying experience. And there is not enough whiskey on this planet to make me forget about that fucking game.
yeah, that was a brutal. Yeah.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
And you guys brought up the team defense and the way Georgie's been playing. The goals that they actually managed to score against Georgie were greasy goals. They were screens. I can't fault him for anything that I actually saw. The first goal, did you guys see that first goal last night when Manson bashed it out of the crease into Lekkonen's shin pad and it actually went into the fucking net faster than he shot it out? Like, how does that happen? Good God almighty. And then later on, then Pionk scores on his own goal later on. Like, all right, it's even. We're fine. We're fine. I think what should be a little bit disturbing for the rest of the league is I think after this series, this is now the team that no one wants to play. But what should be disturbing is that first line played well. They didn't really super get loose until the third period of the final game. And Mikko, having not scored at all games 1 through 4, gets 2 in the third frame of game 5. And he broke that. I don't know if you guys watched it, but he broke the stick after missing a wide open net. The puck, he just couldn't corral the puck. Hellebuyck falls on the puck, stops the play. Mikko skates around behind the net, snaps his stick in half on the ice. And after that, he was a man on fire. If Mikko, Val, and Nate are clicking on all cylinders like they were in game 3, this team is going to be fucking dangerous.
Well, yeah, and they're going to be heading into the next round, either taking on the Stars or Knights, and we'll see how that plays out through Friday and Sunday potentially.
You lose the home court. You lose
won.
home ice. You lose home ice if so. The Stars. So now it's what 3-2 Stars.
3-2
Dallas. Yep.
So if you lose home ice if Dallas wins, but the last couple of years, last 3 or 4 years, you really haven't done well against Vegas in the postseason. So it's kind of pick your poison. I think you'd rather play the Stars, even if you're going on the road. I think home ice means less in the long run. And the Stars, I think, match up better and are not as healthy as the Golden Knights are, who brought Mark Stone back from the dead and like 4 other guys.
Yeah, but they're beating up on each other pretty good. We were watching the game here, and there were
Let them keep going.
oh yeah, absolutely.
They're
There were
both gonna go to Sunday. Yeah.
two calls in this game in the second period where they called majors and then went to review it because they wanted to get it right. And I haven't seen two in a single game, let alone a single period in a long time. These are two teams that are just going to beat the shit out of each other. And I say, let them fight.
Let them. Yeah.
Let's get this to a game 7. So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean,
That is not a Frank's hot take.
no.
No.
Not a Frank's hot take right there,
Not
Frank.
a hot take. Yeah.
Not hot take Frank take.
Not today. Not on that one.
No hot take Frank take right there.
Well, do you want the redemption
Go ahead.
against the Knights, or do you want the long-term redemption against the Stars? Because fuck the
No,
Stars. For the
I
last
want
20
the
years.
easiest path to get me a
Yeah,
fucking
whatever it
cup.
is.
I mean, I don't care who they have to play. Make it
Yeah,
easy.
I don't-
I don't want a challenge.
I don't
want
need
our
the
fucking names on a
matchup.
cup again.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't think they were going to get past the first round. Remember
No,
that?
we did not.
Let's just fucking root for whatever is the easiest. Path of least resistance. I don't
Right. I didn't want to play
It's-
Minnesota in the first round with the Nuggets. Come on. Or in the second
It's
round.
gonna be
Suns?
Boston versus Denver in both series. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my God.
It's entirely possible.
It's gonna be hilarious.
It's
I'm gonna be so
impossible.
conflicted for like 2 weeks of my life. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
by the
so
way, you're
fucking
getting shut
conflicted.
out if that happens. You're not going to be allowed on the show.
I'll be on the show, neurotic mess, but I'll be on the show. I'll have to sew 2 jerseys and 2 sweaters together, I guess. I don't fucking know.
You're gonna have like a Joker and a pasta.
Brad Marchand and Murray, like M-A-R-R-Y.
You're gonna have 4 jerseys. You're gonna have Joker. You're gonna have
Yeah.
pasta. You're gonna
Yeah.
have Jason Tatum, and you're gonna have McKinnon. That's just
give me Murray, M-A-R-R-Y, there's
right.
and I guess Tate and I'll think Tate Kinnan?
Tate Kinnan, sure.
Tatum.
McKinnon.
McKinnon. There you go.
McKinnon.
Yeah, you could
Go
go
easy
wild and try to combine Porzingis and McKinnon and see what happens.
Oh,
Just yoke Dingus.
Porzingiev.
Yoke Dingus.
Yoke Dingus. Yoke Dingus.
Yoke Tingus Pingus. Who the hell is Tingus
Did
Pingus?
we just name the episode?
Yoke Tingus. I don't know.
Yoke
We'll
Dingus
see.
Pingus.
And like I was gonna say, the Avs definitely need the break. Colton is hurting. That cross check yesterday looked like it broke a rib. He was in rough shape. Makar took a shot to the sternum that I didn't like the result of. The play itself I thought was clean. He just didn't see him coming. And the Parisi hit, which was also unfortunate, but not dirty. He spent a couple of stretches of that game after that hit in the locker room. So I've got concerns with his neck. They need to heal up because all 3 of those guys are absolutely key.
100%.
Mm-hmm. The Avs have made some interesting moves. I don't know if you've noticed the Avs little moves that they've done in the past week. The few little guys that they keep bringing up or sending back down and bringing up and sending back down is just interesting. Like their 4th line guys that they keep. I don't know.
And they started Kovalenko, which I found really interesting.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is precise. That's the move I'm talking about. Like,
but Kovalenko has not looked good. He's not looked good. He's made a couple of okay plays in that 4th line, but he's coughed up the puck more than he's passed it out, and he's gotten caught out of position a couple times. Now, granted, his first game in the NHL is in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Correct.
And not everyone can be Cale Makar and score in your first fucking game and be that guy. And Kovalenko's got not only some genetics, but he's got some legacy with this team because his dad played with this team. And
that was the move I was specifically talking about because I thought that was fascinating. And I think he's an X factor for this team. Honestly, he plays very well on the defensive side of the ice.
And I think that's changed a lot of what they've done. And it's changed what the fourth line can do for the Avalanche just by his defensive presence on the ice. I think it changes the whole makeup of the team.
He's got to look better if that's going to be the case, because I have not been impressed yet.
I thought
he did all right. He did pretty good. He's got to get
more
ice time. He hasn't
done it before. Yeah. Let's see what happens when he gets a little bit under his skates. But it's been fun to watch.
Sure.
And it was interesting.
The other key to what the Avs are doing that's made them so incredibly dangerous is the emergence of Casey Middlestad as your 2C. We've been screaming for a 2C for how long after Kadri left?
Yep.
And he absolutely dominated game 3 and put his fingerprints all over game 5. This guy is spectacular in that role, and I think it's an absolute masterful move to bring him over from Buffalo.
Yep. Agreed. He knows where to put the puck to help people get the points on the board. He knows where he's putting it, and that was the amazing shit about it. There was like a second, or what is it, sixth sense, I guess is what they call it, where he just kind of seemed to know where it needed to be. Well, often.
Sixth sense is that one where Bruce Willis is dead.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay, so he can do that?
Yes, he can do that. He can sense the ghosts.
He can see dead people?
He sees dead people, and he sees Lehkonen in the crease. That's what
exactly.
Well, that's all I want him to see is Lecky, man. That's all I need him to see is Lecky. That's all I need him to see.
Both of them. Just Lecky had an outstanding series too.
Oh,
man.
He's so good, man.
God.
He's just so solid.
Yeah.
Quiet, doesn't do much. Just he's always there, always present. Don't have to worry about him. What a fucking he's like the Jamal Murray of the Avalanche, if I'm being honest.
No, I think the Jamal Murray of the Avalanche is one Valerie Nichushkin. I think that.
So I think you're right about that. So I'll say he's the Aaron Gordon of the Avalanche.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good comp. Yeah. That's a very good comp.
I think you're right about the Nichushkin thing. That makes
he's got 7 goals.
Levels.
Yeah, 7 goals. His 200-foot game is outstanding. And let's not forget, when Nichushkin first got here, they didn't know what they had, and he was awful. And
he was terrible.
Credit to Bednar to bring that guy around and see what they had and be able to mold that guy into an absolute monster on both sides of the ice. I mean, anytime he gets his stick on the puck, you're not taking it away from him. If he's in your neck of the woods and you have the puck, he's taking it away from you. Just unbelievable.
There is a science officer in the kitchen, sir. That she appears to be rooting for snacks.
Okay.
Oh.
She's actually making tea. She's wearing my Star Trek PJs.
Oh,
okay. The blue science officer thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Sorry, context.
Carry on, astrophysicist McPaufel.
You are now astrophysicist McPaufel. She's good with it.
Okay, good. And the last thing I want to bring up is, we talked about the defense, and defensively, Makar is going to be Makar, right? We all know already how this guy can take over a game. I mean, the goal. I know you've seen it when he skated 190 feet and walked down the entire team and scored just by himself. He's like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. But Manson and Taves are playing so well on both blue lines that it's just it's night and day. The last 2 months of the season and what we're seeing right now in the last 5 games,
completely different.
Unbelievably different.
Yep. And after game 1, I think they were actually talking to a few of the guys, and you had mentioned Josh Manson. He was one of them that actually took it upon himself to say, I've got to play better defense. And you've seen the change after game 1. Just something happened between game 1 and 2 of this series that they're a completely different hockey team.
I wonder if Manson called his dad. Because Dave Manson was a defenseman.
Maryland?
Fuck off. Jesus Christ.
Dave Manson. Go ahead. Sorry.
Dave Manson was another big hulking defenseman who played a lot with the Detroit Red Wings. And he's actually coaching in the league somewhere. I don't remember where, but I wonder if he actually reset himself and called his dad and said, what do I do? Help me. What are you seeing? Right. Because finely tuned athletes don't always reach out and try to fix things. And I think maybe this is one of those times when they did.
Maybe. But it's definitely an improvement in performance at the very least.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Huge difference.
All right. We don't know who we're playing, so I'll put it around one way or the other. So let's just say hypothetically, since Dallas is ahead, it's the Avalanche in Dallas after Dallas plays 6. How do you see the series going, Mark?
I never predict the opponents correctly, so I think it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights. But if
we'll talk about them in a second. We're going to do both ways.
If it is Dallas, I think it's going to be Avalanche and over under 5.5 games. So I'll take the over 6 games. Avs in 6.
Tank?
I think if it's Dallas, it's 5. I think we match up really well against Dallas, and they might catch us on a low-scoring night or something like that. But I think
I just don't think that Dallas's goalie can look completely useless like fucking Winnipeg's goalie did. Hellebuyck was just awful, and I don't think Dallas can be that bad. There's no way.
Well, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's the goalie's going to look that bad, because I actually think this is going to be a tighter. I think there's going to be less scoring in the Dallas thing, and that's why I think they're going to steal one. Is that they're going to kind of wrap us up in defense a lot of the game and not let us get any shots on goal or something like that. That's why I think it'll be a 5 game.
I agree with Mark. I think it's going to be 6. It is definitely going to be a tighter checked game, but I think to Tank's point, they match up a lot better. But if they score the way they've been scoring, it doesn't matter, right? It could be 4. Christ. All right. So let's say it's Vegas after Vegas plays 7, because that's what they're going to have to do in order to win the series they're in now. Tank, Avs, Vegas. What do you got?
I say it's going to be 6, and it's going to be us running them out of their boots by the end of the series that gets it.
Mark
Stone has an unfortunate incident that gives them a win. So they get 6 games, but the Avs still win in 6. But there's a revenge game at one point because Mark Stone does something and the team is mad.
I hate this series. I hate this potential series so much. The Avs have been snake bit against Vegas for years. I think they did take one series from them. It's Vegas in probably 6. I think I can't see it. Again, everything being equal, everyone being healthy, things can change, but it is the worst matchup left in the Western Conference for the Avalanche, both historically and the way the Vegas plays. They gum up the neutral zone better than any other team left in the Western Conference. They'll take away that fast breakout game that the Avalanche have. If they can't score, they can't break out, and it's going to be difficult for them. So if it's Vegas, I think it's Vegas in 6, and I hate myself for saying it.
Yeah, and also you have to realize that they have 4 players that just came off LTIR the week before the season. So these guys are still getting their hockey legs, and Pietrangelo and Mark Stone are just going to get better as they get deeper and deeper.
And they're fresh.
Like you're talking about worn out and beating each other up, but some of these guys aren't worn out or beat up, and their names are the two. You're talking about the captain and you're talking about Pietrangelo, and those are 2 of their best players who've been hiding for months.
Right. So let's go.
Just staying healthy.
Let's go Dallas. Let's go Dallas. All right. That's enough playoff stuff. Let's get into dipshit of the week. Mark, you got one on deck?
I do. Give me a second because I have to send you guys a picture. But this tweet is funny, but more importantly, the story underneath the tweet is very interesting. So I am sending that in the chat. Currently, it is a NFL rumors. Former Cleveland Brown Johnny Manziel is going out with Instagram model Josie Canseco.
No.
Oh, no. What?
Oh, no.
Josie is Jose Canseco's child. That is his daughter. That name looks really, really, really close to Jose Canseco, which is why that guy was saying that I thought Johnny Manziel and Jose Canseco were going out, which is hysterical to me. But
that would have been just world breaking. if that would have happened.
Right?
How Jose Canseco can continue to keep himself just fucking fixated in the modern day is just hilarious. Like, he was a decently good baseball player who made some awful choices and then decided to tell everybody else about everybody who also made those awful choices. And it turns out that he was right about every single one of them, and it changed the game of baseball forever.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Canseco, ladies
The
and gentlemen.
world-class snitch, Jose Canseco.
So who's
anytime
the dipshit, Jose or Johnny Manziel?
I think it's the guy who sent the tweet, honestly. Also additionally, Top signed that beekeeper from that game yesterday. So the Dodgers, and I can't remember who the Dodgers were playing. There was a game delay because there was a hornet's nest on the third deck of a stadium. They brought in a beekeeper, and that is the guy's card. He went up in a crane, put on the suit, was like cheersing with the crowd. Like, they were delaying first pitch, and they thought they were going to have to cancel this game, guys. There were people in the stands for this baseball game. You can see the video everywhere. He's raising his hands. He's throwing his fist. They're scooping up the bees. He's cutting down the nest, and people are just going crazy. They're playing all kinds of music. He's playing to the crowd. They announced that he would be available for interviews afterwards. He was on all kinds. This guy has made himself a career. He is not a dipshit of the week, but he has made himself a career just based off what he did in one baseball game, helping out the crowd.
So we now have a new definition for a sports term in a different sport. He is now the e-bug.
The e-bug.
Yep.
I like
He's
it.
Emergency bug guy.
Yeah. But, we always do dipshits of the week, and it always gets negative, and I think we're all going to talk about one here in a bit that's going to be very negative, but I wanted to brighten everybody's day by having a bright spot. So the beekeeper guy for the win.
All right, Tank, what do you got?
The head coaches of the Lakers. That would be one Darvin Ham and one LeBron James. Those are my dipshits of the week. Because...
I don't know how you waste that time out. I know, obviously it got overturned, but it's their last time out. There's 3 minutes left, and it ended up costing them in the end. Well done.
And they were gassed. That team was so gassed.
So tired. So tired.
How you can lead 3/5 of the series and only win one game.
Right?
How the fuck do you manage that?
Enjoy your in-season banner, boys.
Yeah, suck that in-season banner. Suck it all in, guys. That's your win.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, I put a tweet into the group chat. I also have a lighthearted dipshit of the week. I would like to nominate as my dipshit Juniper the bear. Juniper is a 2-year-old bear in the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, Washington. And there was a 2-year-old party, birthday party, where they were hanging out in the bear enclosure. Yep. They're hanging out in the bear enclosure, and it's one of those where they've got the wall with the pond and everything. And mistakenly, Mama Duck brings her little ducklings into the pond, and Juniper the bear decides that it's fucking snack time. And the crazy thing about it is he just waddles in, he jumps in and then waddles around, and you can see him standing up. And he's grabbing these little ducklings and eating them like fucking chicken nuggets.
I'm not watching this. I can't watch this with the sound.
Oh, yeah.
I can't watch this with the sound. There's no way.
The horrified screams of the children.
Horrifying.
The best part of it is one of the moms says, Juniper, no.
Oh my God, he's eating them like M&Ms, bro.
Yeah, he's just popping them.
They're like slider sandwich. They're like little fucking like slider sandwiches, man. They're like the little one finger chicken. I can't watch any more of that. That's just horrifying.
He's just popping crystal burgers.
Oh my God! Apparently that dude was hungry.
Kink, kink. Oh look, a snack.
That's wild.
That's funny as hell.
Oh,
that's why you don't have a 2-year-old birthday party in the bear enclave.
Right? I mean, it was at the zoo. They just happened to go to the bear thing. Right. Like they weren't having the party in the thing.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
That just happened. It just happened. They could have been 10 minutes earlier or 10 minutes later, and it would have been okay. But nope. Juniper the bear, for his lack of spatial awareness, and didn't read the room and decided it was time to pop.
Oh, he read the room.
Oh, yeah,
he read the room. He's like, ooh.
This is going to be funny as fuck.
This is gonna be
Mom,
yummy.
mom,
This is
mom.
gonna be yummy. We got a bunch of little snacks. Yay.
Ooh.
Oh, all right. That's it for Dipshits of the Week. Final thoughts around the horn. Tank, we'll start with you.
I'm happy for the Nuggets and Avalanche, and I cannot wait for the next series to start.
And
That's my-
talk about the things.
This
Oh,
things
yeah,
and stuff,
you can,
bro.
Yeah.
Just like it's his first fucking day.
Oh, come on.
You're not new here.
I am. You can catch us on all the socials at My Brother's an Idiot and the Idiot Goons. And you catch me on all the socials at Tank Knox and Knox Nostalgic Collectibles.
And the cookies, bro. Is the cookie still down?
I'm still figuring that out right now. I
Okay.
can't. The Facebook thing's not working right.
Go to Knox Nostalgic Collectibles and ask him for fucking bomb diggities, bro. They're delicious. You'll enjoy the shit out of them, man. Get some slickerdoodles. They're fucking awesome. They're fucking awesome, bro. Minjulas, go nuts, bro. They're so good. I've had all the. I'm not joking. I've had all these cookies, and I could eat them by the dozen if I had them in my face. Just saying, man. Delicious. Trying to help brother out.
Right?
I appreciate
Mark,
it.
what do you got?
If you are anywhere near Michael Porter Jr. today, give him a giant hug. Just make sure he's safe and he's loved, man. Fuck. Hopefully he doesn't have any more brothers, I guess. Did you see this story, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to mention it, but I just make sure Michael Porter Jr. is safe and loved, man.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Like, fuck, dude.
Well, I think it's you brought it up. It's worth calling out. Michael Porter's other brother, the youngest brother, was arrested for DWI, was released, so there was no property damage, and thank God any major injury or loss of life. So
Yeah.
it's it does speak to the need for people to be able to talk to somebody. There is definitely a tendency for men and young men in particular to drown their sorrows. And I firmly believe that this was one of those cases where he was just trying to forget. And it did not work out well for him. So hopefully he gets the help that he needs.
And it is 2024, and the drinking and driving thing is just there's no excuse for it anymore. It's too easy to get. There's too many other ways you can get to where you need to get, or not, or stay.
Correct.
So stop doing it.
Correct.
Stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do we want to make sure that Michael Porter Jr. is loved and safe and everything, we also want to make sure that Cale Makar's doing okay. Make sure he's upright. Somebody give him a sandwich or something, whatever he needs, glass of whiskey, whatever he wants. Just make sure he's got it. Somebody check in on Gene Mingo. Make sure he's good.
5 out of 5.
Make sure that we get him okay. And then somebody check on anybody who's a White Sox fan or a Marlins fan, because they're worse than the Rockies. And that's all I got to say, Matt. Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I mean, you say that, and they've managed to walk off the Rockies each of the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's
Rockies. Yeah, the Rockies were up 5-0 yesterday and lost.
Rockies continue to do Rocky things.
Right. They're on pace. They're on pace for the old cup, man, and they might be the worst ever. They're on pace for that kind of futility.
But the White Sox, bro, they're just as bad as all three. It's those 3 teams, and then the rest of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, White Sox is rough.
Even the fucking Oakland Athletics are like 10-14, man. They're like only 4 or 5 games out of being, they're only a couple games out of being 500 club.
Yeah, they're actually only two games back, 2.5 from leading their
White
division.
Sox batting average is below the Mendoza line still. Oof. And I believe the who is it? I think it's Cleveland still has more runs than the White Sox do at home in Chicago.
The White Sox are currently at a -84 run differential.
Yeah, there are teams who still have more runs than the White Sox do at home, and we are like 2 months into the season. Things do not go well in Chicago.
No, they're getting eaten right now.
And the Cubs are not having a good weekend. They did not have a very good weekend either.
No, not at all.
They
All
lost
right.
17-0 to the Red Sox on Saturday. That was awesome.
So, moral of the story is hug everyone.
Yeah.
Put ice bags where ice bags need to be put. Give Kayla a
Yeah.
sandwich and Michael a
Yeah.
hug. There you go.
Gene Mingo.
Gene Mingo. And give Gene Mingo a drink. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
And an Uber. Tank called out the social channels, so make sure you check us out on all of them. We do have a Facebook public page live. My Brother's an Idiot with a black and pink logo. Make sure you check that out. New content loading up all the time. You can also check out My Brother is on TikTok because
We need to
ran
fix
out.
that.
Well, no,
We need to fix that. Right after the show, we got to fix that.
we gotta do something about that. We
Before
went
the next
viral,
one.
fellas. We went viral today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we
Yeah.
went viral. We got 20,000 views and 1,100 likes on a hot take by me calling out Lakers fans. So who knew? Watch out for Tank calling out Cowboys fans because that's next up on deck. That's gonna be great.
Morons.
And officially, Dak Prescott's not going to have his last play be the most embarrassing play that's ever happened to any football player ever. So can't wait for that.
Oh, you mean Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah,
Yeah. They're not going to
his
make
last
him
play
play
as a
center
count.
again.
Let's hope not.
It's the best thing I've ever seen. The best thing I've
So
ever
good.
seen.
So good. And that's the one of the things that I hate so much about that signing is now his last play as a Cowboy is not going to be that.
That's what I just said. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not him. It's not the most embarrassing play in Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott history.
right. Oh, good Lord. Well, you can also check out at the Idiot Goons on Twitch and Twitter. Mark's Twitch and Twitter and TikTok are at Poffle Time. My Twitch and Twitter are at Poffleupicus. You can also catch me on TikTok at King Goon Smoke. We did some ribs on Sunday, 2 different kinds of rubs. I did an ancho lime and a cherry chipotle, and they were spectacular.
Those sound awesome.
Yeah, they were very good. Vacuum sealer in the fridge, in the freezer, and now I've got ribs for weeks because I could just take them out and eat them up as I want them. For the absent dipshit, we love you, dipshit.
Dipshit.
For the absent Milty, we love you, Milty. Hope you're winning all the things. For Mark and for Tank, I am the King Goon. This has been My Brother's an Idiot. We'll catch you next time.